My first week of creative composition was the most fun I've had in this 2 months going through the solo artist curriculum, and it was also very productive. SVS Learn is the main learning source for this unit, but I will get there later, as I'll first quickly review the free content recommended in the curriculum. Everything is linked in my description box. Blaise's video shows examples of the rule of thirds and the golden ratio in his work. It wasn't particularly enlightening in my opinion. ModerndayJames' composition video is about creating depth, and it's great. It is concise, well edited, and full of good information. It might be better to watch Sycra's videos before his though, just because they are more basic. I first watched a playlist from Sycra that was not recommended in the curriculum. It is called Composition for Artists, and it's got 9 short videos about composition principles, so I am linking it here too, as well as the video Composing with Shapes that is suggested in the curriculum. They were all very good. Also from Sycra, the curriculum suggests a video on iterative drawings, as this is the base for one of this unit's challenges. The video is very interesting and it did make me want to try his approach. After watching all this on the first day, I wrote my own plan for this unit. 1. Get the SVS Learning Creative Composition. 2. Use my own projects to work on composition and iterations. 3. Study paper cut art. And 4. Make a Christmas paper cut project. 5. Work with children books illustrations rather than movie scenes for the thumbnail challenges for this unit. So I started with the paper cut study. I decided to do this because of ModerndayJames' video and his way of presenting overlapping planes as if they were flat planes stacked that create the illusion of depth. We had a paper cut lamp for our Halloween decoration, so I got that out and drew the 6 different layers it was made of. I then paired layers 5 and 6 as background, 4 and 3 as midground, and 1 and 2 as foreground, and used a similar structure to sketch a Christmas paper cut illustration. I think it's useful to think about creating layers and adding more interest to a piece. Adding foreground in particular is something that I need to remind myself of doing. I have iterated a few options for some of the layers, but I haven't finished drawing this yet. I do hope I can have a Christmas lamp by the end of this unit though. After that, I was ready to go to SVS Learn. SVS Learn works with monthly subscriptions and you can sign up to take specific courses like creative composition or follow a curriculum that they have created. It really looks great and it's more focused on storytelling and illustration, which really speaks to me. It's also good to know that they work on a monthly subscription, but they do also have a 14-day trial, and this is what I did. I started doing the course on the trial, and I am enjoying it quite a bit. The Creative Composition course has lectures and a workbook, so you're supposed to watch a lecture and complete the relevant exercise before moving on. I did not manage to print the workbook until half of the week was over, so I watched some classes, and then based on them, but also on Sycra's iterative drawing video, I moved on to work on thumbnails for the pages I need for my personal project with some armadillo characters. I had originally focused a lot on the characters and thought of using mostly spot illustrations and vignettes, and mostly on white background, a bit like Olivier Dunrea Gosling's, if this is a reference that makes sense to you. So for this week and also for the unit, I tried to challenge myself a bit to work on different directions with more background, foreground maybe, and angles. So here with my armadillos, my first thought was to have them looking at this newborn bird. Then I started with small changes until I got to bigger changes, from just a different crop in the second thumbnail, then moving the angle looking from the back and seeing the bird, then having them down looking up at the tree until I ended up putting them up on the tree looking down at the bird's nest. And I started doing this more systematically for all kinds of situations, so here in a playground scene, from afar, from the top, from below, and it varied. For some cases I did 4 thumbnails, for some I got to 8 or 9, and for 1 or 2 cases I just stuck to my focus on the character with a spot style illustration and white background, It felt right to me at the time. It's a good mixture of different styles for each illustration. I want to mention that my thumbnails do not follow exactly what the SVS Learn course recommends. I hadn't gone far with their course when I started working with my thumbnails, and I hadn't followed the exercises. I was mostly thinking of Sycra's iterative process and trying to get started. In the creative composition course, the recommendation is to work with very small thumbnails and with shapes and values. I worked with some rather small, but some bigger, and I did not really work on value much, which is something I still have to do, especially if I'm going to get more variety and step out of the vignettes and spot illustrations on white background style. It's nonetheless a step up for me, as I was normally just working with 1 or 2 ideas and then moving on to drawing and maybe just swapping a side or something very simple, and already trying on color to see how the characters would look. And now I feel that even if I like one idea, I can push myself to try some different angles before I get to drawing and painting. I did not finish the SVS Creative Composition lecture in this week, but I've worked through maybe 70% of the lectures and a bit less considering the workbook, because the exercises increase in complexity towards the end. I thought the lectures were great. I particularly like that Will Terry shows examples in which one compositional principle is used successfully, and also when it's done poorly and it hurts the reading of the image. Will Terry is not only a trained and experienced illustrator, but also a good and experienced teacher. I also thought the workbook was excellent. I'm not going to show all of the exercises here because I don't want to infringe copyrights, and also because in some cases you are not supposed to know the content of the subsequent pages when you're doing an exercise. So I don't want to spoil this for others. I want to show some of it though as part of an encouragement for others to take the course, because I think the workbook adds a lot of value to the course. I am planning on finishing the lectures next week and to continue working with my illustrations. I hope this video was useful and that I can share more as I go along. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.